Hi, welcome to Thete Gaming, and had my first little go in the Dragonflight Alpha for World of Warcraft today. So I'm going to be talking about my first impressions for that. I'll be doing a video for longer term viewers in the next couple of days to catch up, so to speak. But I will be doing some regular content from a very casual point of view about impressions and so on for the alpha. I'm going to focus on the first three things that struck me. First of all, in the alpha, all we've really got access to. There are something on professions which I'll have a little look at later in the week, but effectively the only content that's available is the starting zone for the new Dracthyr class and evoker class and Dracthyr race rather. So I've done that. But three things that struck out. Two of them were features of the game. Now, the first one was the interface editor. Now, the thing is, because I haven't really played much of Shadowlands, I played very seriously for quite a while. For those who don't know, I was a Mythic Raider up until the end of Legion. Then I stepped back a little bit, played Battle for Azeroth casually and dipped in and out a little bit, but effectively played through it. And then Shadowlands, I played in the alpha and I leveled up, and then not a lot. Not a lot. So, in theory, there could be features in this alpha. That's a brilliant new feature. And I say, maybe it's already in the game. So I have to check in live. It's like, no, the interface editor isn't there. This is superb. There are, for the longest time, I've played like Warcraft and then Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, So I've sort of gone through the whole thing and only just stopped playing in the last few years, really. And there's one thing at the start of the World of Warcraft that Blizzard did really well. There's actually a few things they did really well, but in this particular instance. And there was another thing that went with it they did really badly. The thing they did really well is they encouraged people to produce add-ons and to distribute those add-ons. And they were fully supportive of, sometimes they'd have to put a block on certain things, but by and large, they said, yeah, brilliant add-ons, excellent idea. Yeah, you go for it, community. And and that was good, because not all games companies do that. Some are very funny about that. But the downside was that what I'd have done is, when there was an add-on that was really, really popular, I'd have looked at it and said, people really want this feature. Should we just build it into the game? And probably I would think top of the list is interface editing. For quite a few years I used LVUI. I've used ones before that as well. I settled on LVUI. That was the best one. But wouldn't it be good to just have it in game? Now it's in. It's really good. It's quite intuitive to use. I haven't done a full one yet, but I've just messed about with the action bars. It's just so easy to use. It's brilliant. It's excellent, in fact. So I was really happy about that. And then the other feature, which I'm maybe less happy about, but I don't know enough yet, is the talents. So when I first logged into the alpha, I did what I always do, right? I created myself my rep paladin, and there was no changes there, of course, to begin with. But I can't access the game there. But what I noticed straight away is it kept saying, oh, you've got some talent points to sort out. Okay, fine. Change your talents. Right, grand. It says, no, you've got 43 talent points to spend. Have I? Where? I can't find where to spend these talent points. But I gave up on that anyway, because there was no content to access for the Paladin. Did the Dracthyr, because I checked the forums, like, what can I actually do in this alpha? Turns out what you can do is the starting Dracthyr. It starts at level 58, starting zone, back to being like a Death Knight of old, isn't it? And at the end of it, I'll talk a little bit about the Dracthyr evoker in a moment, but at the end of it, it gave these talent points, and there were talent points to spend, an old style talent tree. And again, I thought to myself, is this already in the game? Go into the game. No, it's not. This is a new feature. That would also explain why, although it tells me I've got 43 talent points to spend on my paladin, I can't actually spend them because they haven't put the tree in yet. It'll be coming. And I thought to myself, I'm not sure about this. The new style of talents, I say new style of talents, it came in Mesa Pandaria, I think. And it was a big improvement just having a small number of talents rather than the talent trees. Because the problem with the talent trees, you just had the cookie cutter build, didn't you? Sometimes, you know, there might be a few left over for preference, but basically you just did the cookie cutter. And I will say, I haven't seen anything written by Blizzard on this. I've not been reading around Dragonflight. I saw the trailer, and I'll reference that in the next video. And I've now played a couple of hours in the alpha, but ultimately I haven't read anything. I don't know anything. So everything I'm learning firsthand, not having read about it. I don't know how they're billing these new talents, because presumably you will have read about it. Is it the old-fashioned, oh, you know, if people say, level the accusation, oh, we'll just end up taking the cookie cutter build, what's the point? They go, no, there's plenty of scope for individuality. It's like, no, there isn't, is there? I mean, if you try and design talent trees so that it's there for individual choice, there will be a cookie cutter build. The best you can ever hope is if it's designed with certain things in mind. Like, so there's a build that would be quite good for some types of, if you're thinking in raiding terms, some types of fight, and some for single target fights, some for AoE fights, some for this, some for that. Some are better for solo, maybe. Some are better for dungeons. Some are better for PvP, whatever, you know, fine. But if they're not consciously thinking of that, then it's like, no, you'll just create an ideal, a best fit cookie cutter build, won't you? So I'm not at all sure about that. But again, not sure doesn't mean I think it's a bad idea. I'll just wait. But my initial thoughts on it are... Then the actual class, the evoker class, Dracthyr race and evoker class. It's a funny one. I do notice it's a male user for quite a long time. It's been the case that... you know, they've got far behind. We have, you know, quite a few leather-wearing classes, a few cloth-wearing classes, you know, a few plate-wearing classes now, and it's like male. I did think, you know, when they brought the Demon Hunter out, will they make that male using? And although leather, makes more sense, I suppose, it was just, there's already a lot of leather classes, aren't there, mate? You know, do you think you should just make it male? And they didn't. But the evoker is, so, you know, that helps there. And like, you know, Demon Hunters, just 2 specs, damage dealing and healing this time, as opposed to damage dealing and tanking for Demon Hunters. Here's a funny class. I'll tell you where I've got a bit of an issue at the moment, and I've only just dipped my toes into it. Of course, you're not going to come here for any expert advice on how this class plays, for goodness sake. Indeed, how any class plays these days, I don't know. But... there's quite a few abilities in it that look quite cool. Oh, they look really cool. They're amazing. I'm not entirely sure. I'm curious, because this class could either be a fairly straightforward class to play, or it could be incredibly fiddly, because there are several abilities that have fairly hefty cooldowns. And the problem with a class like that is, and bear in mind talents interfere with some of these cooldowns, by the way, so some of them may not be as long, depend on your talent. And the problem with something like that is, because they're fairly hefty cooldowns, you want to wait for the best time to use them, but then if you end up not using them, say something's got 1.5 minute cooldown, and then you save it for like 3 minutes, it's like, well, you could have used it twice now, so you've missed out. Even waiting for the optimal time to use it. So you've always got issues with things like that, and it could make it a fiddlier class, a trickier class to play. Or it may not. It may not. It may be that a lot of the abilities that are on these long cooldowns, when it comes to it, aren't that great. It does have some very odd ones. And again, I've often thought, you know, if they make a new class, and I suppose at some point they would do, they sort of have a lot of playstyles covered. There isn't really an obvious playstyle that's not covered. I thought when they brought the monk out, I thought that was quite good, because that had a very unique style of play. Demon Hunter was not bad, absolutely not bad, but I don't think it was necessary. I don't think it brought a great deal, but it did have some interesting mechanics. And I'm quite sure the same thing will be true of the evoker, but I just sort of look at it and think, you know, it's once you get the hang of it. And again, although you can create yourself, a character that'll have more of the abilities. You know, when you first get it, it takes time to sort of work out what you're trying to do with it, but it's decent enough. It has one weird ability actually, which is both a heal and damage. So that's going to have to be macroed so you can heal yourself in a fight, because otherwise, if you've got a hostile target, it'll just blast energy at it. But it will heal you if you target yourself. So that's going to be macroed. But yeah, it's I don't know, but I will play about with it and see what's what. But those are my first impressions. As I say, the interface editor was the first one that struck me. And it was bittersweet. It was disappointing and rapturous. It's like, brilliant, this is amazing. But it's like, it's nearly 2 decades late. Why wasn't this in a long time ago? And it wasn't, there may be things that would have been a lot trickier when World of Warcraft first came out. But say something like Star Wars The Old Republic, which has been out for a long time now and has an interface editor. It's like, well, they could have done it a long time ago. And it's what sort of gets me about Blizzard. It's, you know, when they finally decide to bring in something that a lot of people want, they do it really well. It's just it takes them a very long time to do it. And it's constantly baffled me. And I think the big thing for me will be, so as I say, I'll be playing the alpha. You know, I have a very soft spot for World of Warcraft, even though I've not played it properly for a few years. So I will play through it. Whether I would play it afterwards, I mean, the thing is now I do have time to play MMOs. Like recently I've been playing Star Wars The Old Republic again. I play Elder Scrolls Online every now and then. And I'll tell you what's really good about those that has often been missing from World of Warcraft. And we'll see, but my hopes are not high. You can dip in and out of them. I can play Star Wars The Old Republic for, you know, a few hours a day for several weeks if I want. And then I can leave it for months, a year, 2 years, and then come back. And it's absolutely fine. And some things may change, you know, some talents may have reset or whatever, same with Elder Scrolls Online. But I'm still on the same quest, I'm still going to the same place, the same things are happening. I just carry on the game where I left it off. It's really that simple. World of Warcraft, I think they have made improvements. I think they've looked at it recently, maybe forced by the fact that the population is dwindling a bit. I don't know. But I still feel that when you go back to World of Warcraft, I don't feel I can just pick up where I left off. That has always been the problem. You feel like you've missed too much. The game forces you to want to play every day. Whereas with the other ones, it's like there's a reward. Oh, you want to log in? Yeah, you can have this reward. That's grand. You know, but World of Warcraft really says, no, you must play every day. Every day. You miss even a single day, I will punish you, my lad. And I hope that because if that goes away, I will play World of Warcraft casually again. Very casually, though. Very casually. But if I play it and I level up and I sort of and it does what it did even in Shadowlands, and it says now you must do all this stuff you don't actually want to do. When I don't get that sort of treatment in Elder Scrolls Online or Star Wars The Old Republic, it's like, because the thing that was always keeping me in World of Warcraft is the raiding. The top level game I thought was superb. I was not at all, you know, there were, I never even wanted to try it with Elder Scrolls Online because I didn't like ultimately how the classes played. Star Wars The Old Republic, same sort of thing, you know, whereas World of Warcraft, the raiding I thought was top notch. But as soon as I didn't have time for the raiding anymore, then you look at it and as a casual game, it just falls apart immediately because it tries to choke you. And ultimately, it's that choking that also stopped me raiding in the first place. It wasn't that I had no time for the game. I just didn't have time for all the raiding and all the mountain of stuff you had to do that had nothing to do with raiding, but that you needed to do the raiding. But anyway, we'll finish on a negative note. It's always good, isn't it? Start of a new alpha. But I will have some more general thoughts, or personal thoughts, in terms of it in the next few days, I think. And then, as I say, each week I will intend to update if the key. I think the current what's currently in the alpha is, I think it says on the forums, scheduled to be in place until the 25th of July, after which presumably they open something else up, and I'll just keep having a look at it and reporting back. But those are my thoughts initially. Thanks for listening, and until next time, I'll see you later.